These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial. And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
I was cash. She didn't give me any checks.
We both grinding, trying to make a living. Mr. Wade is used to women that, as he told me one time, the only thing a woman can do for him is make him a sandwich.
Fani Willis lied to the court. It's game over for her.
It is a lie. It is a lie.
Everyone got caught watching the sizzle while Big Fani was taking the hot dog. Hey fam, welcome and welcome back to One and Done. I can't believe this. This is like watching an episode of Jerry Springer. Big Fani was making a name for herself by chasing Trump for overturning or attempting to overturn the election. Now she's made a name for herself alright, but is it all for the wrong reasons? Now Nathan Wade was providing the hot dog and clapping those cheeks. Now I like to call him D Wade because he was getting buckets. Well, at least we thought he was, but according to Fani, she has a big reveal towards the end of the video that Mr. Wade wasn't providing that D often enough. You want to stick around though, because this starts off all nice and cordial, and as the questions and the heat turns up, these two lovebirds start to peck at each other. So let's let the drama unfold and roll the tape.
It's so legalistic-centric and yet so important and fascinating.
Right. Don't let the legalese fool you. This is epic. This is monumental. If things are going in the direction we think, Fani Willis lied to the court. It's game over for her. She will be disqualified. If they had a relationship prior to when they represented to the court, it's a huge deal. I can't overstate it.
Now this is so much fun to watch. MSNBC, they are taking this hard. Do you know how hard that would have been for them to report that? Now Big Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, but for purposes of this, we're going to call him D Wade, because D Wade was going hard in the paint and he was getting buckets. Now watch this interesting display as he gets asked when he started getting buckets on Miss Fani Willis.
When did your romantic relationship with Miss Willis begin?
2022.
When in 2022?
Early 2022.
So you were appointed in November of 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
And your relationship started early. What's early? January? February?
Around March.
What personal and romantic is later? When I ask you personal, do you take that to mean romantic?
Yes.
Okay. And do you understand it that their relationship began in 2019 and continued until the last time you spoke with her?
Yes.
Snap. Mr. Wade's been caught out in a lie. The friend says 2019, he says 2022. There's only 3 years difference. But this next question is quite funny. Now watch the body language here. Has Miss Fani Willis ever seen your wood in the log cabin?
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
Ever?
Ever.
No.
You've never gone to a cabin with this?
No.
Never, never, ever? No, no, no. No wonder this guy was getting paid on a 24-hour clock. How long does it take him to answer a question? You can feel the screws tightening, the heat is going up. So let's check this out. Apparently this is how money laundering works.
You said in the affidavit that you roughly shared travel though, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this roughly sharing travel, you're saying she reimbursed you?
She did.
And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
I was cash. She didn't give me any checks.
So she paid you cash for her share of all these vacations?
Mr. Schaefer, you'll step out if you do that again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so all of the vacations that she took, she paid you cash for?
Yes, ma'am.
And you purchased all of these vacations on your business credit card, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you included those in deductions on your taxes, correct?
No, ma'am.
So the allegations were that Miss Fani Willis was paying this Mr. Wade the big coin, and in return he was paying for all their trips. And apparently she paid him back in cash, but there's no transactions to show it. So now Mr. Wade calls out Fani Willis for being a bit of a boss babe, throws in a little jab or barb, see if you can pick it up, about her carrying her own weight.
If you've ever spent any time with Miss Willis, you understand that she's a very independent proud woman.
I'd object.
So she's going to
Overruled, Mr. Wade.
so she's going to insist that she carries her own weight, and it actually was a point of contention between the two of us. She is going to pay her own weight.
Now Big Fanny's gonna clap back. She claims Mr. Willis claims that women are only good for making sandwiches. I guess he's bringing the hot dog, he wants her to bring the bread.
Did the forthcoming indictment have anything to do with that? Or was it just a coincidence?
Let's go on and have the conversation.
I'm just asking you whether or not it was a coincidence.
Had absolutely nothing to do with this. It's interesting that we're here about this money. Mr. Wade is used to women that, as he told me one time, the only thing a woman can do for him is make him a sandwich. We would have brutal arguments about the fact that I am your equal. I don't need anything from a man. A man is not a plan. A man is a companion. And so there was tension always in our relationship, which is why I would give him his money back. I don't need anybody to foot my bills. The only man who's ever foot my bills completely is my daddy.
Is there anything else you would like to add to that?
Hot diggity dog. Nathan says, go make me a sandwich, Fanny. Now Fanny's starting to feel the heat and she's going to turn up the heat herself. She's going to make claims that Mr. Wade wasn't getting buckets every night and claims these allegations are crazy because he wasn't batting 100.
You had contact with Mr. Wade in the year 2020, correct?
I had some contact with Mr. Wade.
Would you explain when you say some contact? Please tell us, talking about 2020.
I had some contact with Mr. Wade in 2020. One of the reasons your allegations are so preposterous, or Miss Merchants that you have joined, is...
Ma'am, I didn't ask you about the allegations. I asked you about your contact. That's all I ask you, okay? I appreciate that you want to say something, but I'm interested in, did you have contacts with Mr. Wade in 2020? And your answer so far has been yes, correct?
Very limited contact because Mr. Wade had a form of cancer that makes your allegations somewhat ridiculous.
I do appreciate the
I'm
characterization.
not going to emasculate a black man, but I'm just telling you.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm not going to emasculate a black man. Did you understand that?
All right,
Well, I don't
let's
think
get
we should
back on
discuss
track.
further.
Mr. Sadow, next question.
Damn, this is starting to turn into Springer. These two are going low down dirty on each other. They're airing out that laundry. Now all these questions are getting under Fanny's skin. She's clapping back and wants to be hostile.
Point where Ms. Willis should be treated hostile in this situation.
I think we have...
I very
Mr.
much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be
Not
here.
so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis, it'd be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Thank you. Merchants' interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
Watching this next clip as the lawyer asks about Aruba and what Big Fanny calls the lawyer.
He initially paid for that.
For Aruba, yes, ma'am.
So let's talk about both of those. I know he initially paid for it. Did you pay him back?
For the cruise and for Aruba, yeah, I gave him his money before we ever went on that trip.
You gave him cash before you ever went on the trip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you got cash to pay him back on these trips, would you go to the ATM?
No, lady.
You would not go to the ATM?
No.
No, lady. No, lady. You're in a court of law. You're supposed to know how to carry yourself. You're supposed to be a professional and you're supposed to be prosecuting Donald Trump. The gig's up. You're way out of your depth. So the lawyer wants to know, did Mr. Wade come to your apartment to bump and grind? Fanny Pack's playing dumb again. So the lawyer had to dumb it down and ask her where she laid her head.
Did he come to, I guess, the condo? I'm not sure what you called it, condo apartment. Would he come and stay at that condo or visit you there? I'm sorry, visit you there.
What condo, what apartment? I want to be clear.
So not your house. I know you classified one as house and one as condo. So I'm trying to use those terms.
So but there's been more than, see, what you don't understand is because of this case, I got to move. And so I
Ms. Merchant, if you could ask a more precise question.
Yes, please, give me the time period.
Mr. Wade visited you at the place you laid your head.
When?
Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth,
Judge.
And it is a lie. It is a lie.
Ms. Willis? Mr. Sadow, thank you. We're going to take 5 minutes. Be back in 5.
Now Big Fanny was acting like a petulant child, so the judge had to throw her in the corner and tell her to take a time out. She had time to regather her thoughts and come back in, but they're about to turn the heat back up.
So, but you were saying that you had amounts of cash. You still had that lien in 2022 when you were dating Wade and going on these trips. So the cash that you gave him, that could have been used to pay this tax lien off?
You gonna tell me how to pay my
I'm going to
bills?
object. This is not relevant as it relates to why we're here today.
Big Fanny came out with the Sheneneh, oh no you didn't, tell me how to pay my bills. You can't make this stuff up, folks.
And then he tells me how much it is, and I give him the money back. I don't, just like you're asking me about the money with Robin, I don't do my friends like that. So if you tell me it's a G, then you're going to get $1,000. Whatever it is, I didn't ever make him produce receipts to me. Whatever he told me it was, I gave him the money back.
I gave him a G, he gave me a little D, a little G, a little D, just let us be. Money, launder, D-ring. Now the lawyer's asking for access to her flight records. And Fani Willis is going to clap back and say, hey, listen, I'm not on trial here. Trump's on trial. So just stop digging into my business, okay?
So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
And, well, no, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
Now that's really telling. It just told me that she has extreme bias, and that's why she's going to get punted from the case. And one of the strongest cases apparently against Trump may be in jeopardy. Now the judge has had enough of her antics. He gives her a warning for her behavior.
That's before I had to abandon my home, Judge.
All right.
And at my home in South Fulton, he never came there, okay? So if you don't come someplace, you can't live there.
Ms. Willis, I'm going to have to caution you. This is going to be my first time I have to caution you. We have to listen to the questions as asked. And if this happens again and again, I'm going to have no choice but to strike your testimony. So we need to break this down. Ms. Merchant's question, I believe, was asking whether you lived anywhere other than South Fulton.
So the judge says, I'm going to have to strike your testimony. But look at the body language. No wonder Mr. Wade pulled out. But watch this next part as Big Fanny explains her and Mr. Wade love to bump, grind, and eat.
Did you go out to eat with him?
Maybe. Probably.
Did you visit him in any location, his office, or did he visit you in your office in 2020?
I am sure I'm sure. Ooh, that's a very good question. I'm sure he came to 750 in 2020.
750
was my office.
Okay.
Not often, but maybe once or twice. Maybe I went to his office once or twice, but maybe once.
And the purpose for going to his office would have been what?
Maybe we would have went to Mellow Mushrooms for pizza, or maybe he would have come for lunch. I'm sure we went by each other's office, though, but not often, not a lot. We both grinding, trying to make a living.
So there you have it, folks. They love to bump and grind. This sounded like an R. Kelly album. Now, I never took that much interest in this case because, let's face it, most of these Donald Trump charges are all trumped up. They're making up new laws on the fly, trying to squeeze some laws into others. So I wasn't really that interested in it, but this is like watching Maury or Jerry Springer. It's like watching a car accident. You can't help but keep your eyes on it. Now, this whole thing stank of Miss Fani Willis, Big Fanny, trying to make a name for herself. Well, she's achieved that. And Mr. Wade, what were you thinking, bruh? Well, I know what he was thinking. He wanted to climb that corporate ladder. Now, to get to that ladder, he had to take Fani Willis on several trips. And according to Big Fanny, towards the end, he was having trouble getting the sauce out of his sausage. Now, things got a little bit nasty towards the end there. Fani Willis was starting to say, hey, Mr. Wade wasn't bringing the D, and his sausage sizzle ended up being a fizzle. Now, I called him D Wade because he was scoring buckets. He was clapping Mo cheeks. Like Miss Fanny, I think this case is going to get pumped and dumped. Why don't you tell me what you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment section and I will jump in there and respond as I usually do. Now, why don't you help us get to the 1000 sub club by hitting the like, smash the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Don't forget to share these videos wide and far, and I will catch you in the next video.